Hey, remember when 2018 happened? Like a year ago, right?
It's like 9 months, give or take.
And all those movies came out. We're going to talk about some of those movies, but not the popular ones that maybe you're thinking
Avengers Infinity War.
No, not Avengers Infinity War. We're going to be talking about the ones that maybe didn't do so good at the box office. Maybe you haven't even heard of them.
Oh, Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. That thing
Not
sucked.
Jurassic World. Ones that we love, but maybe mainstream.
Aquaman.
Not Aquaman.
Bumblebee.
No.
Venom.
No.
Black Panther.
No.
I don't know any of the movies. What other movies are there? I don't get what we're doing here. Hello and welcome to the Fourth Act. My name is Phil and that is my co-host Alex. And typically we do an agree-disagree segment every week where we debate about the newest release. But since it's Labor Day and there's no good films on Labor Day, we're going to go back into the vaults and talk about the films that got released in 2018 that were good and that we don't want you to forget about.
We've been wanting to do this for a while.
I have waited so very long for this moment.
So we each have about 5 movies or so that we'd like to just bring back to the surface.
I have 246.
5 movies and then some that we'd like to resurface. Now we have, for the most part, have not seen each other's movies. So these are our personal choices that we just want to remind you about because we like these movies.
But I know that yours are shit.
Okay. I'm going to start off with my number 1 movie of 2019.
Oh boy.
This is my personal favorite movie. It's so weird. So just picture this with me, okay? Because you might not know what this movie is. Take the aesthetic of Blade Runner, the lighting, the music. It's very methodical.
Sure.
And apply it to the world of John Wick. Now he's out for revenge. He's gonna get you, right?
Yeah, that's John Wick.
Now replace John Wick, recast him with Nicolas Cage, and you get Mandy.
I didn't see it, but I remember this. Why?
No, check out Mandy. It is the perfect. It's wild. It's bonkers. This is just batshit crazy Nicolas Cage. It is the perfect environment for Nicolas Cage to be Nicolas Cage.
Why?
There's one scene where Nicolas Cage, in his underwear, downs an entire bottle of vodka in a bathroom, and the whole time he's just getting madder and madder with every sip, and I swear by the end of the scene, he's just simultaneously chugging this vodka and screaming at the same time, because he's so mad. The people killed his wife, and he's gonna get him.
Do you typically like Nicolas Cage films?
No, not really. There's a
I'm not
chainsaw
watching-
fight. The guy's got like a 4-foot chainsaw, and they're like sword fighting with it.
I personally just want to see a National Treasure 3.
Okay.
That's all I really want to see.
I've said what I need to say. I mean, if that doesn't sell you, then I got nothing left to say.
Look, that does not sell me on anything. Game Night, starring Jason Bateman and Rachel McAdams, is a very, very fun comedy film, and you saw it, correct?
I did watch it, yeah.
Yes, because I pick good movies that Alex wants to see. Alex picks weird movies like Mandy that
Alright, this is not a competition.
who wants to watch. It stars Jason Bateman and Rachel McAdams as Max and Annie, a very competitive couple, just like us.
Yeah.
And they host a game night every week at their house, but it gets upstaged when Jason's brother comes to visit and steals a game night from them. And he does an interactive game night murder mystery thing that ends up becoming real, and it's all these hijinks that ensue. It's so comical.
This is all real.
Is this gun real?
Oh, no, Andy. Oh,
Ow.
What? A lot of comedies nowadays just feel like they get the necessary coverage on each character in a conversation, and they're just doing improv, and they have to cut it together somehow.
Yeah.
Whereas this one, you can see
how we film this.
You can see that it's very written out, and it's carefully planned out, and it's shot like a movie, and it looks really cool.
Yes.
And there's plenty of shots that make the world look like a game board. It's just a really well-made comedy, which is not nearly as popular anymore.
No, and I just want to say there's a whole secondary crucial point to this with Jesse Plemons' character. They're a weird, super strange neighbor who's very uncomfortable to watch.
I do hope you keep me in mind for any future game nights.
Well, you bet.
I've always enjoyed the camaraderie of good friends, competing in games of chance and skill.
Yeah.
He's such a quirky character. He leads to so many twists and turns in the movie, but it's very much a comedy as much as it is a mystery.
Yes.
So you should definitely check it out if you like when, genres blend like that. It's a fun one.
I second that.
And enjoy it.
Let's talk about Annihilation. It's one of my favorite movies of 2018 because I'm a big sci-fi fan. And I feel like sci-fi, just in general, has kind of fallen by the wayside.
Oh yeah, I mean, look at
years.
Sandra Bullock in space, Matthew
Yeah.
McConaughey in space,
Yeah,
Matt Damon in space,
Okay.
Ryan Gosling
Yes,
in space.
so we go to space a lot, but that's...
Fast and Furious in
there's
space.
oh, please, yes.
No!
It's not just going to space, though. It's that CGI in general. Look at it's futuristic. Look at the technology we have. That's become a lot of sci-fi, and to me, that's not what it should be. To me, sci-fi is at its best when it uses otherworldly situations to really break down human tendencies and examine why we are the way we are. That's what Blade Runner was, one of my favorite movies. That's how Alien was. I think Alex Garland, the director, did a great job with that in Ex Machina, and this movie is no different. It is the human tendency to self-destruct that we have, which is a very heavy topic. It's essentially suicide, and the movie deals with this in a very cerebral way. Natalie Portman plays the wife of Oscar Isaac's character, who's gone missing in this kind of alien perimeter that the military's got locked down. They're trying to figure out what it is, right? And Natalie Portman goes in there to save him, along with a whole crew, and they each have their motivations, and you start to find out that maybe this is a suicide mission, and maybe they knew that going in, and it kind of goes from there. It's just a really fascinating way to break down that whole topic and see how people deal with it differently than other people.
Ventress wants to face it. You want to fight it. But I don't think I want either of those things.
Josie. Josie!
Anyways, let's jump to my side, the fun side, and let's talk about Gringo, directed by Nash Egerton, the brother to Joel Egerton.
Nobody
his
likes this
directorial
movie.
debut. Listen, it's got a 40% on Rotten Tomatoes. That's pretty good.
That's not good enough!
It's actually got a 40% on Rotten Tomatoes and 39% audience rating.
That's
So
even worse.
no, but that means that everyone kind of agrees, all right? So shut up.
That it's mediocre.
I thoroughly enjoyed Gringo. It's got a stacked cast with David Oyelowo, Joel Egerton, who is, Nash Egerton's brother, Charlize Theron, Amanda Seyfried, and Charlotte Copley. And that is a really good cast when you look at their credentials. The plot has David Oyelowo as Harold going down to Mexico to bring a medical marijuana pill to the pharmaceutical there. And it's just a very fish out of water comedy. He's a very reserved person, and it's so fun watching him outside of his element. Again, situational.
You really believe in God?
Of course I believe in God. What kind of person does not believe in God?
I guess I kinda do, but not.
From what I've read, people were disappointed with the characters and the plot. But to be honest, I think every character in the film holds true and moves David Oyelowo's character forward. And on top of that, I don't really think the plot's that big of an issue. It's a very chaotic story, so I think the storyline just kind of merges with that chaos, and it becomes very enjoyable to watch.
I have not seen Gringo, and I don't think it's one that I would want to watch, but honestly, when it comes to comedies, it's very subjective, so there's a good chance I actually might like that movie. My favorite comedy is Kung Pao, so who knows?
You disgust me.
Alright, you want to talk about a fun movie? Let's talk about one where the protagonist is in over his head taking on a group of evildoers, but he has a second conscious that's fused with him, that's doing all the dirty work for him, it's ripping off people's heads, right? You know what I'm
I like
talking
where we're
about,
going
right?
with this, Venom.
We're talking about Upgrade.
What? How is it not Venom?
No, okay, this is a perfect example of just the love-hate relationship that Hollywood has with its audience right now.
And us.
Because it's a lot of people complain there's too many sequels, reboots, right? And there's
Yeah.
not enough original material. But the thing is, they're all going to see movies like Venom, and they're not going to see movies like Upgrade. And I believe that Upgrade is superior to Venom in a lot of ways. Maybe they're slightly different movies, but the thing about Upgrade is it proves that you can take the tropes that you've seen before, and it can do something with them that is interesting, that is new, that is exciting. It's a man who's a quadriplegic. A millionaire scientist kind of approaches him with a new invention that he wants to unofficially test out on him. Puts it in his neck and it makes him walk again, right? It talks to him just like the symbiote does.
Sure.
It handles the dirty work. He just says, STEM, you can take over. And then it gets really action-y, and the action is really cool. The camera work is my favorite part of this movie, right? Because it moves with him in frame when the action's happening. Say he's doing handsprings, right? The camera flips with him. Even if he's just walking, and the camera kind of moves with him and the environment's moving around him, and it just makes you feel the uneasiness and the unnatural loss of control that he has, and that's obviously kind of what starts to take over and corrupts him as we go. Venom doesn't do these things. It doesn't have these kind of innovations. Upgrade does. It kind of pushes the boundaries. Now you can go see Venom, but I think it'd be really rewarding if an audience would be willing to go see a movie like Upgrade, if we turned our attention towards more independent movies like that.
I mean, I agree. There needs to be a market for original stories, and there's not that in the past decade.
The story's been told to death, so I want to approach it in a new way. We need a Jesus movie for the postmodern world.
Like, Jesus as a rapper?
No.
There was a small film that got released in like late 2018 called Stan and Ollie, using their first names. And we saw Stan and Ollie.
I love Stan and Ollie.
We love Stan and Ollie.
Fantastic movie.
And it sucks because when we were in the theater, I think we were the only people in the theater.
Pretty close, yeah.
And it's a shame how it just got completely overlooked. It got snubbed by the Academy, and it's
Really,
a
it
great
did.
film. It stars Steve Coogan and John C. Reilly, and quite frankly, I'm not a big fan of John C. Reilly, but he shines in this film. I mean, he's unrecognizable at times. It primarily focuses on 1953 during their comeback tour, when they're kind of at the end of their career. You could see them grow and evolve one last time before they really hang up their hats and move on. And the chemistry that they have, they play off each other. It encapsulates Hollywood filmmaking in that time in a modern setting as well.
I'm lonesome for you.
It's an adorable movie. I second all of that. I actually wanted to put Stan and Ollie on my list, but
I took it.
Yeah, he took it. We equally love Stan and Ollie. It's a feel-good movie, and you'll walk out smiling.
It's a feel-good movie.
My next film was actually marketed a certain amount, and you might have heard of it, but it feels like it kind of came and went, and that is Bad Times at the El Royale. Drew Goddard directs this movie, and he proves that he's a very skillful filmmaker. It's very Tarantino-esque. Very Tarantino-esque, but where Tarantino would put style over substance, not to say that there's no substance in a Tarantino movie, but it's very subtle and you have to look for it, whereas Drew Goddard puts it front and center in this movie.
Okay. You can't miss it.
It takes place at a hotel right on the border of Nevada and California, and it's immediately from the beginning starts playing with this metaphor that one side is right, one side is wrong, good, bad. One
Like our
side you
shtick.
have Sunshine and the City of Angels. Nevada, you've got Sin City, of course. Right?
Sure.
It populates the hotel with a number of 60 stereotypes.
Okay.
People you've seen before in movies. And you think you understand these characters, and the characters think they understand each other. But as the movie goes, you see that they each have dark secrets and stuff that they're not telling each other, and they're hiding from the outside world.
Flips it.
And they struggle to understand each other. The tensions rise, and it explodes, and people die.
Father Flynn, get down here! That vacuum man just busted down the door and he beat up that other girl and he's gotta go! Get away from the window! Yeah!
And the other thing that it does really well is introduce us to Cynthia Erivo, who a very, very experienced stage actor, but comes into the film industry here. This is a start for her. And you saw her later on in the year in Widows. She did a pretty good job in that too. That's a name to remember because she really knocks it out of the park in this movie, along with Jeff Bridges. So, Bad Times at the El Royale.
Check in for a couple hours and watch that.
Ooh.
The next film on the docket is Instant Family, and I saw this movie alone because no one took it seriously and wanted to come see it with me.
Nobody wants to play with me.
I'll be honest, I saw the poster and I didn't really take it seriously because it's just kids out there and they're like going like this.
Yes.
And then like Mark Wahlberg is like, what am I gonna do?
You see Mark Wahlberg and Rose Byrne, and you're just like, why are they parents? Who planned this?
Yeah.
But it works because they have great chemistry even before they get the kids. It's just like it's like a loving couple, a very successful life. They're happy in their own right. But then they see these kids and they evolve, their characters evolve, and they have really good chemistry with the kids. Sean Anders does a great job of having each of the three kids that they adopt have a distinctive quality that challenges them. You can kind of relate in some kind of aspect with it because you probably either had like a younger sister or a younger brother or like a cousin or something. It's just, it can pull on your heartstrings, and it does on all the right times, and it's very funny.
It is funny.
Can we be the Clippers?
Oh, I'm more of a Lakers fan.
Oh, well, sorry.
No, you don't have to say sorry. It's okay. We could be the Clippers, all right?
Okay.
No! Oh,
shoot. You did it on purpose.
What?
You hit me because I like the Clippers.
What?
No!
I remember seeing this movie, and I didn't want to see it, but I did, and it was a great movie, and it's very encouraging to people who are thinking about adopting.
Yes.
It really shows you how adoption can be very rewarding.
Yes.
It does. So I second this movie.
It's a hard subject to tackle with adoption and stuff like that. So give the film a watch and buy a kid.
My last film is one that was completely ignored by the film industry. I'm very surprised by this. It's a great movie, and it's American Animals. I didn't hear anybody talking about American Animals. It stars Evan Peters, and it's the true story of some college students in Kentucky. They're living a regular life, and then they realize that there are these books that are extremely valuable in their library, and they're guarded by one lady. And they think, how hard it can it be, right? And so they start to plan this heist, and they want to steal these books. And these books are massive, by the way. Open, they cover this whole table. So they're very heavy. And they plan this whole heist, and they do it. And this is a true story. They get away with it. But then they get caught later on because they use, like, their real emails or something. It's very daunting to watch them, like, approach it and do it for the first time. Suddenly, they go to pull off this heist, and they just sew in over their heads. They have to tase this lady, and it's just really scary, and you feel their hesitation. And they're idiots.
Because they're not professional hitmen. They're not professional robbers or criminals. Right. They're just people that want to steal a book.
And they don't know what they're doing.
Where are the books? Huh? Where the fuck is Lauren?
The greatest thing about this is it is real. Like, it's so believable because it is borderline documentary where the real people are actually narrating it every now and then. And at times they will actually, like, stop the scene and be like, wait, their scarf was blue, and then the scene will replay and the scarf will be a different color. And there are even times when Evan Peters is talking to his real life counterpart and he's, like, giving him advice. It's like his conscience.
So this is how you remember? Not exactly. But if this is how Spencer remembers it, then let's go with it.
It's just a really weird way of meshing two, like, genres together that I've never seen before.
The Mule stars Clint Eastwood, and it came out in the later half of 2018, and you would be surprised to know, but not really, that Clint Eastwood was 88 years old when he filmed this. The film is an adaptation of Leo Sharp's life, who was a drug courier for the Sinaloa cartel when he was 90 years old. And of course, this fits Clint Eastwood to a T, because he's around that age.
Because he's very old.
Yes. The film starts off kind of slow, and Clint Eastwood kind of gets roped into it.
It's because he's so old.
Clint Eastwood kind of gets roped into it kind of accidentally, and it's kind of interesting to watch just kind of an old guy stumble into this like really dangerous lifestyle, not realizing the dangers that it can bring to his family. But it's also interesting because he doesn't really have a family in this that he is close with. As you see the movie going on, he kind of gets comfortable doing that role. He starts to reevaluate what's important. And it's really interesting to see because he shines well in front of the camera, and he also executes that well from behind the camera. And that's obviously always hard to do.
Maybe you enjoyed the moment a little too much. Had too much fun. That's why you're working for us now.
Best pulled pork sandwich in the whole wide world.
Bradley Cooper's in it as well. He plays the DEA agent, and it's really interesting to see his younger gung-ho dynamic with Clint Eastwood's kind of older, more respectable repertoire. And it's also cool because Clint Eastwood, of course, directed Bradley Cooper in American Sniper, which is the highest-grossing war film of all time.
Is that true?
Yes, it is. So say what you will if you like it or don't like it,
yeah.
but I liked it as well.
Yeah, no, I missed The Mule. I was gonna go see it.
You stood me up.
No, it's true, I did. I was gonna go see it, and then I just didn't show up.
Nobody wants to play with me.
I still want to see it because I haven't seen it. But, you know, watching the trailers, just the one thing that I've really noticed about the movie is that Clint Eastwood is just so old, you know?
Oh my god.
Real quick before we wrap up, we each have some honorable mentions. Now, I'll start with that. Obviously, I want to talk about Sorry to Bother You. A lot of people that love that. I know you hate that movie, Phil. But there are a lot of people who love it. Hereditary, a game-changing horror movie, I think. Directorial debut by Ari Aster, too, which is very impressive. It's a terrifying movie. He really knows how to get a reaction out of you. Speaking of directorial debuts, Bo Burnham did 8th Grade, which is arguably the biggest snub of the year at the Oscars. Coming-of-age story. So 8th Grade is a great watch. There's a lot of comedians and actors doing directorial debuts, right? So we had Quiet Place directed by John Krasinski, and we had A Star is Born directed by Bradley Cooper. But I want to talk about Mid-90s directed by Jonah Hill, because nobody was talking about that. And I think that's a great story, and it gets into the skateboarding culture. And there's a kid who maybe doesn't want to go home because there's some stuff happening there that he doesn't like too much.
Yeah.
You want to stay out all night with your friends and all day. So it was just a really interesting slice of life from that culture. Lastly, I just want to talk about Free Solo. Yeah, I know it won the Oscar, but I want to just reiterate, it's a riveting documentary about Alex Honnold, who's climbing these, I think it's a 3,000-foot rock face, El Capitan. Free soloing means no safety nets, no wires, just there's shots where it's just his toe, his whole life is resting on his toe. You're on the edge of your seat because it's real, you know? And the fact that there's a camera crew watching him it's so, like...
I'm waiting for him to die.
Nerve-wracking. It really is.
My first honorable mention is Beirut, starring John Hamm. He's a U.S. diplomat who kind of has a horrific experience, kind of retires and goes back to the States. Pick up on him 10 years later, and he's called upon to do a hostage negotiation for the return of his friend from a terrorist organization. So that's pretty an intense, gripping espionage thriller. So you should check that out if you like lots of twists and turns. A film that you might have missed also is The Old Man of the Gun, starring Robert Redford. His last starring vehicle before he retired. He's a criminal that's escaped like over a dozen times. It's influenced by a real person. You're gonna probably be like, why am I talking about this? Because it won the Academy Award for Best Picture, but it's Green Book. And I feel like that's going to get forgotten because it was very controversial when it won.
For all the controversy that movie got, it's a good movie.
Yes.
You just watch and enjoy it.
Overboard, the remake from 1987 with Anna Faris and Eugenio Derbez.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I know what you're thinking. It's like, what? But it's fun. Check it out. You'll have a laugh.
I do not condone that one, but you do you.
Shut up. And then you have the Meg. Because if you like the transport and you like Jaws, you'll love the Meg.
There's gonna be a Meg too.
No, but you gotta watch the Meg. It's a great chart. If you love Black Panther and you love Thor, you're gonna love Aquaman. And if you missed it,
everyone knows what Aquaman is.
He never got respect in the comments.
Cut.
No, stop it. He never got respect in the comments.
Nobody wants to play with me.
That's it for this set. Let us know if any of these films that we talked about piqued your interest and you're going to head down to your local Blockbuster and pick them up and give them a rent for movie night.
There is a lot of great movies on these lists. Stop watching Endgame. Stop watching Infinity War for the 5th time. Give some of these movies a try, please.
Maybe I'll try some of that life Tony was telling me to get.
Leave a comment below. What are some movies that we maybe forgot that were not so big when they came out, but you believe that these are great movies that people should be aware of? What do we forget? Leave No Trace, maybe.
Chappaquiddick.
You Were Never Really Here.
The Death of Stalin.
Maybe some foreign films like Shoplifters. I love Shoplifters. So, yeah, leave us a comment. Let us know. Like and subscribe. Or don't, because you
have free will.
Stop doing that.